Hello, everybody. My name is Johnny O'Shea, and I was assigned the movie Apocalypto for my oral assignment. Apocalypto is an action packed movie made by Mel Gibson, who is a popular film director and actor most known for his role of Max in the movie Mad Max. Apocalypto is an action packed movie where a man named Jaguar Paul is forced to escape mind control after him and his tribe have been captured. He is driven by his wife, who avoided getting captured due to his aid, and who is in not labor yet, but she's pregnant with his child. He has to escape the mind control in order to live happily with her and to avenge his fallen father, who was killed by the Mayan barrage that entered his tribe. After killing a lot of different Mayan leaders and heads, he returned to his family, saved them after his wife had given labor, and him and his new children went into the woods and lived happily, I assume. To understand the scale of, or how impressive his feats were in the movie, you have to understand the absolute scope and scale of the Mayan Empire. It was huge. In one article by Mike and Scott, who is an earth scientist from NASA, he states that before its collapse, the Mayan Empire stretched out from its center in northern Guatemala's Petén region across the lowlands of the Yucatan Peninsula. This demonstrates the absolute scale of the Mayan Empire. It was absolutely enormous and one of the biggest indigenous Indian tribes that I think exist. I know the Aztecs and Incas were also up there with the Mayans, but at the time it was huge, and it's crazy to think that an indigenous tribe or one singular person was able to escape this massive, um, pretty much empire at the time, and that's exactly what happened in the movie. So now that we understand the power of the Mayans and the triumph that Jaguar Paul went through, we can look at the controversies that exist in the movie. There are multiple geographical geographical issues that exist in the movie, such as environmental degradation, and a clear thing that is expressed throughout the entire movie is indigenous warfare and ritual violence. In one of his informative books, Richard Hansen claims Apocalypto has provided an interesting case study depicting indigenous warfare, environmental degradation, and ritual violence. That just, furthermore, that proves what I said previously. It's clear throughout the entire movie, the whole time. It's not only a very brutal movie, but you can see the influence that their culture has on what they do. They were literally sacrificing people. The Mayans were sacrificing all of the tribes that they caught or captured. They would straight chop off their head, watch it fall down the giant thing, and say that they were spilling the blood to the gods to give them fertile lands for the next year. Another controversy that is seen is hegemony. One scholarly article written by Wina Primarista explains hegemony. It says this has something to do with the phenomenon of reaction to stand the power by the elites. What this means is that everybody is going to seek for a more powerful being. That's exactly what was expressed in this entire movie. You see all of the Mayans, all of them trying to grasp this top role, which there was one man who seemed to be a king in the movie, and he was on top of all the power. And then you see all of the tribes grasp towards the strongest man in their group. And hegemony is a very serious issue, and it's greatly depicted throughout the movie. So, the most important thing of this assignment is how does it relate to our class? This took place before any people ventured off into the land, so it was still only Indians. Only at the very end did we see any British colonies come settle in, and the Indians just ignored it. So everything here takes place pretty much at the beginning of this class, where we learned about their culture and origin stories, and it's super visible the influence that Native American culture has on them. At the one point, you can see the guy is like performing a ritual, making it seem like it's okay to do what they're doing, like their actions are justified for killing all of these small indigenous groups. And another clear relation between our class and this film has to be the impact that intertribal warfare had on storytelling at the time. A lot of times we don't really understand that most people storytell about how they want to be depicted, and that is huge in this because the intertribal warfare just makes some fathers want to tell their kids of their great war stories, and that can be seen between the father and Jaguar Paul at the beginning of the movie, and also the difference between his stories and the stories that are told by the Mayan Empire. So, in conclusion, we can see all of the controversies that are explored throughout the action-packed film that I really enjoyed. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. And we can also see the clear relation between this film and our early Native American works that we've seen and read about.